Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of MindAbility Matters. And I am so pleased today to be joined by an absolute ray of sunshine. Every time I see her, she makes the whole room smile. The lovely Becky Horbury. She's a huge part of Wellington HR, and they do HR for HRs. But I could talk about you for hours. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone, Becky?
Oh, thank you, Sam. That was a lovely intro. Hello, everyone. So, as Sam said, I'm Becky from Wellington HR, and I'm a HR consultant that supports other HR consultants. And that's what we started doing in 2019. And it's truly magical what we do, Sam. I would say it is something that every HR consultant should consider having in their lives because we can provide a service that allows you to still make money. We won't steal your clients, and there's many other benefits to it. It's magical, like I said. Yeah. And there's four of us as part of the team. So, you've got that cover as you need it. We're HR generalists. We're just amazing, not gonna lie.
And they really are. I mean, I've been recommending them for years. So it's lovely to see Wellington go from what was one person to now four, and the great work that you all do. But Becky, I'd love to know more about your journey. How did you first get into HR?
That's always an interesting story. And like so many others, I didn't set out to go into HR at all. I actually applied for an administrator role. And in the middle of the interview, the person paused and said, "Hang on a minute, I'm just going to go get our HR team. I think you're more suited to them." And then before I knew it, I had started working for a training provider for the military, which was very exciting as a HR assistant. I did that for about 4 years, I think it was. And then I thought, I fancy a bit of change of scenery, get to know some more kind of industries, etc., within the HR world. So I joined a HR consultancy, and that is where the passion sparked. I absolutely loved working as a HR consultant. But unfortunately, I got made redundant 18 months down the line. But it wasn't all lost. I then moved on to work as a personnel officer, as up to date terms, that would be like HR officer, standalone at a chocolate factory, a well known chocolate factory, actually, which was very exciting. And I did that for 5 years. I was working on the factory floor. Literally, I
Wow.
could only describe my office as Harry Potter's bedroom under the stairs. So that was highly entertaining. But the plus side was the fact that I had kind of the quality area to you and I. That would be the tasting area. We go over, check the crunch of the chocolate, the texture, etc. Fabulous. Absolutely love that. And then I saw a role come up and I didn't have a clue what company it was for. And I thought, oh, HR consultant. Oh, providing support to other HR consultants. Being standalone, you're like, love would have some support. Do you know what I mean? So I applied and I found out that it was the wonderful Shelley Paul. Shelley Paul was the founder of Wellington HR. And actually, our paths had crossed probably about 7 years prior, just as I was starting that HR consultancy journey. She worked in the same building, but for another HR consultant. And Shelley had then set up Wellington HR after all of that. I was at the chocolate factory. In 2019, she set it up. So this year will be our 6th birthday. And
Oh,
it was so great to see Shelley again, and everything just fell into place from there. And I've this February, I think it's next week after, I think LinkedIn got a bit excited and said it was my 2-year anniversary already. But yeah, I will be here 2 years, which has flown by. But they say time flies when you're having fun, don't they? So yeah.
so true. So true. And it's such a clever model. HRs for HRs is such a clever model. The industry itself is booming. I know other sectors are having a pretty rough time as it goes right now. Um, but with any change, whether it's growth or unfortunately, downsizing or pivoting in any way requires HR and HR support. What are you
Mhm.
most proud of in the last 2 years and all the work that you've done?
Oh, that's really tough. That is really tough. But actually, it's seeing the smile on another HR consultant's face because they've actually got to have a holiday, spend time with their family when they're not glued to their phone and glued to their laptop, and they've trusted us and it's paid off, and those clients are happy, and they've just taken that time out for their own well-being. And particularly that's really helpful for HR consultants that, have a baby. Otherwise, who else is going to run their business for them? And we've done that, but also allowed them to make an income. And it's like, my goodness, this is such a great thing. So yeah, I think they're one of the top moments, I think. But another thing I would say that I'm super excited for, Sam, is the fact that this May we will be becoming employee owned as a business.
Oh, congratulations.
Yes. So that's huge in itself. And that's something we've been really working towards. And we do work as well. The other side of Wellington is that we support employee owned businesses, which is such a fantastic space because
it is.
quite often you find with employee owned businesses, they're very values led. And that's what we are all about, that support, that collaboration, and that community. And that's what's encompassed in a true employee-owned business. So we align with them perfectly, which is wonderful.
Oh, Becky, that is fabulous news. And Shelley, if you're watching, congratulations. I know how important that is to both of you, actually. So that's a lovely thing to hear. When you look at that employee-owned space, 10 years ago, we weren't really talking about employee-owned spaces. And I'm really pleased we are seeing more of a conversation around it and the benefits of it. You mentioned a moment ago the values piece and that alignment, and that it really focuses on that, doesn't it? If you've got a team who have really bought into the organization and then they are part of an EOS scheme, how have you seen that evolve over the last couple of years with the conversations you're having, and why are more companies wanting to embrace it?
There's so many reasons. It could be that the founder is wanting to take a step back from the business, and they might do that in a gradual way, if that makes sense. They'll sell it for a fee, and then the trust will start paying it back over time. So they're still part of the business, they're still being involved, but equally that founder may want to stay, but give back something to their employees. So that's really lovely to see. It's also about that employee voice piece as well. It is having other people's voices heard within a business can add to the creativity of a business, etc. And that is something really exciting and important. But of course, you've got those hiccups when it comes to employee ownership. To anyone that's not heard of it before, they probably go, oh, we're employee owned now. Oh, that means I own a business. I get a say in everything. I get to say if the sofas are yellow in that kitchen. But it's not like that. So it does have bumps in the road, and it's managing those communication lines correctly, the way that you set it up with your managers and things like that, and how you communicate things to your staff. But quite often you see that they're really investing in their people. You obviously have got the tax-free bonuses that employees can get every year if that's available, but also you find that they're offering enhanced pay for maternity leave, paternity leave, holiday, and other benefits galore. And it's really nice to see those employees truly valued, and it drives up that productivity and that engagement in the business. So that business is going to succeed more because those employees are feeling loved, to be honest. So it's great.
I love that. And I mean, I'm not sure if you know, it's just talking now, I'm curious. What is the increase in EOS businesses that we've seen over, say, the last couple of years in the UK? Do you know what some of those figures are?
I should remember this. They said this at the EOA conference, and it has tripled, if not it's gone bigger.
Wow.
And quite often you're seeing businesses pop up left, right, and centre that are now becoming employee owned. So it's got huge, Sam, and it's only set to get bigger, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's a big space, and it's a big space to watch. It's exciting.
It is exciting, and it's kind of politically agnostic as well. I think both sides of the pond we're facing joys right now, she says sarcastically, and the other side of that is this is quite protective, isn't it? In terms of kind of riding many storms. I like the fact that it's so forward thinking, and I'm a big advocate, as you know, of future back thinking, and this is really saying, I as a business owner want to leave in say 10 years time, and I want the business to be at X, and I know in order to do that, and I want to carry on earning, I need to put a great team in now who can really feel that they're part of it, they can evolve with it, they can develop with it, and it's more than that tick box exercise, isn't it? It's a real, come on, let's really make a difference here.
Yes, absolutely. It's all about making a difference in so many different ways, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, and no, it's not a one size fits all package. One thing that will work for one employee owned business might not necessarily work for another. And there's so many different journeys that you can go on to get there. But it's exciting. I love it. I love the space, and I love the feeling that you get working with those employee owned businesses. So it's really cool.
It is cool. And are there any sectors that we're seeing more of an uptake in this right now?
To be honest with you, it's everywhere. We've got healthcare sectors doing it. We've got architects doing it. We've got media companies doing it. Engineers doing it. It doesn't matter what sector you're in. It can happen. I mean, as a HR consultancy, it's happening. So, yeah.
Brilliant. I love that. And I'd like to take you back now to the kind of HR for HR side of things. At what stage are you normally coming in to work with the consultants that you work with?
Any stage whatsoever. It can be the fact that you're getting to that point and you're thinking, do I need to hire someone? But with that comes the uncertainty of, is that work going to keep flowing?
Yeah.
And if I invest in hiring someone, that leaves me in a bit of a sticky wicket if it's not working. Whereas if you engage with us at that point, you haven't got that tie-in. So that's great. Other times, like I was mentioning earlier, it can be for that period of time that you want off. It can be for emergency support. We all have those situations that pop up. But equally, as HR consultants, you find there's some things we just really don't love to do. And we're okay with doing that. We can cover that. But also with processes as well, sometimes you need to be completely clear from another part of the process. For example, a grievance investigation. We can pick up that part, such as the investigation itself, and then you're available to do any disciplinary hearing or follow-up that's needed. So you're still impartial. So there's so many ways that it can happen. The other way is that it's also allowing you time as a business owner to focus on the growth of your business. And it's so important to do that, isn't it, Sam, that you're taking that time. We miss it, don't we, otherwise? So that's one thing we can do. And a lot of HR consultants have set us up as their first point of contact for their retained clients. So it actually looks like we're an extension of their team, and it feels like it to us as well. So it's lovely. We're very, should we say flexible then, in a nutshell? We are flexible as to how we can provide that support and at what time of the journey we get on board. So, yeah.
Brilliant. And it was funny when Stephen was on the show last week, we were having a real laugh about some of, the lighter side of things, because, we can often look at the heavy stuff and, this isn't going so well and this isn't going so well. But actually, there's some really funny stories that happen in HR. What are some of the most bizarre things that you've dealt with over the last few years that you're in that you couldn't write it moment?
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to be honest. I feel like it's the situations that involve toilets. Why does it always come to HR? Why? I would say that. The toilet situation, and then having to pull everybody together to then say to them about how we should be using the toilet and finding it, as we wish to find it, and not leaving it in a mess and washing our hands, etc. That is entertaining in itself. And why that should fall to HR every time, I do not know. But I always have a chuckle to myself about it. I really
Oh my
do.
days. Oh my days.
I mean, it's not as good as Stephen's with Windy. That was
I mean,
perfect. I love that
I think
story.
that's going to stay with me for a long time, to be fair. I know what to get him for Christmas.
Yes.
Thank you, Shelley, and lovely to see you here. Yeah, you're one of my favourite people too. So when you look at how the market's changed since you've come on board, and Shelley, I'm sure
Mhm.
you've seen the market change a lot as well. What are some of the big shifts that you're seeing HRs are working on, and what's behind that shift?
Mm. Oh, that's an interesting question. I think at the moment it is about evaluating the workforce and your procedures in place for managing
Yeah.
situations, especially with the national insurance increases going up, the living wage going up. That is something that people are focusing on in how they deal with situations. So more focus on long-term sickness absence. We're seeing that. Sadly, redundancy procedures, restructures, that's happening a lot. But on the plus side, people are also investing more in the learning and development of their team and looking at, what pay they should be doing. So a lot of benchmarking is going on, and performance management, I would say, too. They are big factors that we see a lot. So that is really nice.
Are there
Yeah.
any is there any rhyme or reason that we're seeing, for example, are we seeing, say, I don't know, construction increasing and hospitality decreasing? Are there trends that are sex specific that you're seeing in terms of the work that you're working on with consultants right now?
No, I haven't. And I'll be honest with you, normally January, I'm sure every HR consultant will go, it's normally pretty quiet in January. It
Yeah.
hasn't been. It hasn't been at all. And I think the trends everywhere has got that more focus in trying to sort things out now, because things are going to change. All these employment law updates that are coming in, especially if employees get all their employment rights from day one, like it's expected, to get your house in order now is going to help you out in the long run. So there is a big shift where there is being more focus on those businesses that have paid attention to it. So yeah, it's all shifted, Sam. It's all shifted.
And what joys do we think are coming for us in terms of new legislation and that kind of stuff this year?
Oh gosh. Do you know what? Actually, from an employee perspective, I would say the employment rights from day one. Because as any employee, if you're under that 2-year service, you do feel a little bit nervous throughout that. But it's also as your decency as a human being sometimes, just giving that little bit more attention to things. And actually, that can pay off. That can really pay off, because when employees feel valued, everything improves. And it doesn't have to be much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're not having to invest loads in them. It's just that little bit more. So yeah.
And that actually brings me on to a really interesting question, because a lot of this is people don't know what they don't know, right? And I think a lot of this, in many instances, is they're not a business owner isn't aware of this, or they're busy over here and they're not aware that something bad is happening over here through no fault of their own. With everything that's coming up, what is the increase in project work for you on the onboarding side of things, and what are you being asked to do to change there? Not the how, the what, by the way. So I'm not.
Yeah. What we're being asked to change. I think, to be honest, it's that whole recruitment procedure that needs redesigning in so many places, and people are focusing on that. So we're helping with a lot of the redesign of the recruitment procedure. Then the whole onboarding. So you've got your induction. And instead of, that whole handbook that you've got to read and it blows your mind and I can't remember any of that. We're redesigning that for a lot of businesses, and also moving away from like the employee handbook structures as well. That's not much fun if you get handed that and told to read it. You get a bit lost. Instead, like having a suite or a library of procedures that you need, you can pick up. Obviously, you've got those key ones for when you start employment. That's really helpful. And they're going to answer so many questions for your employees.
Absolutely.
So that's great. And I think as well, it's kind of looking at the design for the job and actually understanding at the very beginning what you're wanting as that role to be and how much it should be paid to get the person that you need in place that's going to be the right fit. That's going to save you so much time. And then kind of reflecting back on the fact with this day one employment rights, that focus is also being put more onto that probation procedure and how much support and feedback is, given both ways in that time period. That is what we're seeing at the moment, Sam, I would say. All those things.
Interesting. And yeah, none of that surprises me. Actually, I think that is also really good. It's just that getting things right,
Yeah.
We're hearing more and more, and I did a post about it earlier on this year about the number of HR consultancies we're seeing come into the market. Bearing in mind your HRs for HRs, how have you seen that side of things change over the last couple of years since you've been at Wellington?
There's a lot. There's a lot of people that are moving out of in-house roles, and being in an in-house role, I can see why, in all honesty. You move away from that
Yeah.
revolving door aspect, don't you, of being in-house. So that's lovely. But what I will say is that whilst it's increased, I still feel that overall it is a space where we can all fit, because as HR consultants, you can easily collaborate together, and there is so much you can learn off of each other. Because let's face it, as a HR consultant, you never know what's going to land, do you? People do the most peculiar of
Always.
things, and it's different. So yeah.
Always. Yeah, it's, I think it's interesting. I'm getting that question more and more, which is, is there actually room for me as an HR consultant? And, my answer is always yes. And I'm sure people will say, oh, you would say that because you want our business. Well, actually, no, if we're right for each other, I want to work for you and help you and stand shoulder to shoulder with, but I'm not right for everyone. So no, I don't automatically want your business. And I often chuckle to myself when I hear that, because it's, relationships are way more important than that.
Yes,
On that
absolutely.
point, Becky, how long do you tend to retain your clients for? I'm sure with what you do, it's going to be a pretty long time.
It is a very long time. In the 2 years that I've been here, the same clients that we started with before I even started are still here. So we retain them as long as they want us, and it seems that they want us for the long haul.
Fantastic.
But we build the bond with them. So, it feels like we're part of their team as well. We get to know them and everything. So yeah, for the long haul, please.
And it's, it's so true, isn't it? That trust is hard earned and easily lost. I think if people don't get that bit right, and I know how much it's important to you, Shelley, and the rest of the team, and you have really built a phenomenal reputation around that with other HRs. What's the plan for the rest of the year? Have you got any more fun things coming up? You've got, obviously, you're going employer owned. What other things have you got going on?
We have many exciting things coming. Our 6th birthday is coming up, and also us becoming EO, but there'll be something very exciting about that, but you'll have to wait and see. It's a surprise. But equally, we are going to the HR Big Meet. Shelley and I will be there. Shelley will be part of the panel. So if you haven't booked your tickets, you need to come, because it's going to be epic, as always. Yeah, we've got all sorts in the pipeline, but those are the things that are really sticking out at the moment. I think they're going to be spaces to watch, definitely. So
I love that, Shelley. Wellington HR has clients who we started working with since day one, nearly 6 years ago, and that's testament to the great work that you all do, and the fact that you listen and talk to your clients. it's not an easy space to be in, being the HRs for HRs. You know, there's lots of pivoting, going in between clients, the protection, the data protection, the confidentiality aspect of it. It is not an easy space, and I think for those who are watching today and thinking, "Oh, easy money," it is really not. It's a very unique space, and I know very unique isn't a word. It's a unique space to be in.
Yeah, agreed. And I think as well, Sam, it all comes down to how you project
Yeah,
yourself as a person, because people buy people, don't they? And if you click with someone, if you get on with them in a way, that really helps to attract those clients if they can get to know you a little bit on a personal
absolutely,
level. That's what I find anyway. So yeah.
absolutely. Now, Becky, I have 3 very important questions for you. Are you ready?
Go on,
Okay.
Sam.
So, what is your favorite cheese?
Oh, brie. Hands down, it's got to be brie. But I don't even mind if the rind is still on. Put that in a toasty. Oh,
I mean, you're
lovely.
a hard brie lover then. All in.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah,
love it. I love
all
it.
in.
Not a second
Yes.
thought. I think that's the quickest response we've had. I think that is amazing. It's amazing what we learn about our club members when we do this. Okay, so my next question for you is, forgive my squeaky chair. My next question for you is, what is the worst film you have watched over the last 12 months that you absolutely feel you're never going to get that moment of your life back again?
Oh my goodness. I have a 4-year-old, so I have to endure a lot of films, to be honest with you. And I think the most recent one that I have not enjoyed is one called Super Pets. So any parents out there that's had to endure that, maybe it's good for the first time, but I've seen it on repeat. I dread to think how many times I've seen it. Please don't make me watch it again. It's torture.
Oh, and it's the music, isn't it? I think so often with kids' films, and then you find yourself just humming the music, and you just think, no, just stop, just stop.
Yes. I think I know the whole soundtrack to Frozen and Encanto, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah,
And I'm sure that there are many parents who are, suffer the same infliction with something like that.
absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm going to take you to happier times now. You are planning on going on holiday, and you're taking your 4-year-old, and maybe putting them in a kids club so they can watch their programs there, so you can have some adult time. If you were to take a swimming pool flotation device with you, what would you take and why?
You know those giant flamingos that have kind of got the little seat in? You could have one of those, and then you could have a cocktail in hand, and you'd be a bit more sheltered than on like a lilo or a rubber ring. It'd just be safer, and you wouldn't spill that lovely cocktail. So yeah, a
I
giant
think that is
flamingo.
amazing. And if Sharon Mumford is watching, she's just going to love you for life on that one. She loves her flamingos. That is
Oh,
amazing. Yeah, I think, we've had some really interesting ones. We've had some, middle of the road standard ones, but I love that bat flamingo. That is absolutely brilliant. Becky, you have been with us on our journey for the business club for so long. You have been a sheer joy in the meetings. When we had Pitch Club London, which was our live in-person session, you literally lit the room up. I remember so well. Your pitch was just amazing, and the round of applause you got. I've had so many
oh, thank
highs with
you.
you and enjoyed so much quality time with you. Enough about what I get out of you being in the business club. What do you get out of being in the business club?
I get to spend time with you. That's definitely up there, Sam. You're a font of knowledge. You are an incredible human being, and your listening skills are. I've never seen listening skills like it. You are amazing as an individual, but the space as a whole is filled with so much connection with others that genuinely want to help each other out.
Yeah.
So much knowledge to be shared. if you've got a snag, for example, like a snag to brag course, you come along and people pitch in to help you out with that snag. And it's never judgy. It's just pure kindness. And it's such a special place to be part of. And I mean, like you were saying with the pitch club, when we're all together in person as well, it's just magnified. And so, if you're not part of it, you need to be. There's so many benefits to being part of it.
Becky, thank you. Yeah, and we are now in the throes of organising, an in-person event in October. So as soon as I know we've got the date hold that date. So as soon as we've got more details, we will be announcing that, because I'm excited just to have everyone together and a group of experts really kind of helping to lift your businesses even further than they are. So I'm excited about that. And you'd have had your 6th birthday by then.
Absolutely. So yeah, all exciting.
It is
things
exciting.
coming.
And is there a party, please, for your 6th birthday?
That's a secret. You have to wait and see.
Oh, I love a party, and I have FOMO.
Well, you never know, Sam. We might drop you an invitation.
Amazing. Becky, you've spoken about so much today in terms of how you can help HR consultants and the HR for the HRs. I'm going to take you back to the EO side of things, then we'll close with the HR side of things. But on the EO side of things, what's the kind of journey that a business owner can expect to go on? And at what point should they open conversations with you?
Open the conversation at any time. We just want to listen to understand what you're trying to achieve as a business, what your ideas are, understand your business as a whole, what you're trying to do, and then we'll feed back as to how we think we can add value for you. We're not going to come in with the hard sell. We're not going to list off everything we can do. We don't want to bore you. We want to get to know you first so we can align with what you need. So it can be retainer, pay as you go, etc. We're flexible. We sort it out as you need it. That's going to suit you and it's going to benefit you and your business.
I love that. And what are some of the success stories you've had with it?
Success stories with the EO space. There's been many. I think Shelley actually has been phenomenal in that space. If you don't know, Shelley's got a doctorate in employee voice. So she is Dr. Shelley Paul, which is very, very exciting. And actually that's been really valuable in the things that she has done. She's really helped, especially with the strategy of the businesses in the EO space and the trust that they've got in her now. She's almost like part of their boards and things like that. So yeah, I think just to kind of have that trust that your voice matters, and she's adding so much value, and all of us are adding value at Wellington to them in many different ways. But yeah, I think any value that we can add and that trust, that is our success story. I can't pinpoint one point because there's so many wins.
Love that. I love that. Yeah. And so let's now come to the HR for the HR side of things. If someone's not sure or on the fence, what are some of the things that you've either had to do quickly for a client, and I know you can't talk about this specific situations, but if an HR consultant's got a particularly challenging situation on their hands right now, what do they need to be looking out for and thinking of? And how can they reach out if they're in a particularly difficult place right now?
Absolutely. If you head across to our LinkedIn page, so the Wellington HR one, or find my LinkedIn page directly, or any member of the team, just drop us a little message. We'd love to have a quick chat with you, just to sound out how you're feeling, what's going on. And then by later on that day, an hour later, everything can be ball rolling normally, to be honest with you. It's very simple to do, and there's no judgment. you know, if you've got this grievance coming and it's made you go, oh my gosh, no, I can't put myself through that. You know, it does happen, especially when you've had to deal with a lot of them. That's fine. Throw it at us. We got you. We got your back. That's the main thing. So yeah.
I love that. And if they want to reach out, so go to the Wellington page. What's the Wellington website address if they're looking for that?
So obviously www.wellingtonhr.co.uk, and you can also email us at hello@wellingtonhr.co.uk.
Brilliant. Becky, thank you. And
thank you.
I just want to say, Shelley, it's lovely to see you here today as well. And I'm so pleased you were able to join in. Becky, you're going to have to drop us a line when your birthday is. You know what you're getting now. You're getting a pink flamingo inflatable from Shelley. I'll go halvesies with you, Shelley, on that. But for everyone who's watching, I hope you can see why Becky is just such a ray of sunshine to be around. She's a genuinely fabulous human being, and you can see just the warmth. People smile when they're around her. She really has got a lot of experience in the HR space, as has Shelley and the rest of the team. So there is no job that's too small or too big. The amount of referrals and companies I've put their way over the last few years, and without exception, everyone has come back and thanked me for the great work that Wellington HR have done. So if you aren't sure, just reach out, because even if you're not ready now, they will stay in touch with you. They will continue to build that relationship. Where Wellington and MindAbility share a real value is that relationship. And Stephen, thank you so much. Yes, it has been a great conversation today, and lovely as ever to see you. Your story has gone down in history, by the way. Becky, thank you for being here. Lovely to see you, and I will see you very soon. So from me, it's goodbye, and it's goodbye from Becky.
Bye. Thanks very much.